looking for an actual step-by-step guide on how to combat travel anxiety, this video might not be for you. But before you click away, I need you to know this video does have overarching themes of perseverance and hope, so stay tuned for that. Hi, my name is Nicole, and I just went on my first international trip to England. I vlogged the entire experience. It was so amazing. You can watch all of those videos in the description below, but that's not why I'm here to talk today. No, I'm here to talk about the lead up to the trip and actually getting to said trip. So strap in, because this is one hell of a story time. So I hope you did go watch those vlogs before you came here, because it was really a great trip. My friends and I planned an amazing trip. We went to London, we went up to Manchester. It was just so amazing. But what I didn't share in that video is that that's not exactly how that was supposed to go. You see, originally that trip was gonna be London and Manchester, but at first we were actually gonna go down to Disneyland Paris. We were gonna go to France for a couple of days. We were gonna land in England, then we were gonna take the train down to France. And while my friends got to go do that, I didn't. Things got kind of messed up. So let's go back a little bit further. If you're new here, I am an extremely anxious person. And this entire trip was my first international trip. Before then, I've only been on a plane once, and it was to Washington, D.C. So it was only about an hour and a half. So I had major flight anxiety leading up to this, and I was getting there alone. All of my friends are from different places, so we weren't necessarily traveling together. So once I knew this trip was like actually finalized, that we were gonna go over, that this was happening, I was like, I think I need anxiety medication, because this is gonna be a 7-hour trek. And I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle that. You know what? I said this wasn't a how-to video, but this is actually a good tip. If you're feeling anxious, if things aren't going the way you want them to go, talk to your doctor and get help. A lot of people take some sort of anti-anxiety med, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. I can do this, I can take care of that, and I'll feel better. Side note, here was the funny part about that before we even got to the trip. So many people take anti-anxiety meds for the plane. So many people take an anti-anxiety meds, period, but so many people take it for a plane. So I thought this was a very normal thing to ask the doctor, which it is 100% normal to ask the doctor. So I was a little bit nervous to ask my doctor because I've never asked for like meds or medications before. So I call up and I was like, hi, I'm gonna do this. And why did she proceed to tell me that I should learn to handle without? Hold up, was this the rhetoric that everyone's been getting? Or is this just a me thing? Because I thought this was like a totally normal thing. Everyone asked about it, the doctors were cool with it. Why did I get a lecture? Why did I get a lecture? Did everyone else get a lecture? I was nervous going into this phone call and everyone's like, no, it's gonna be fine. Why was I getting lectured? And the best part, okay, I'm getting heated immediately and it gets worse. But I just have to get through this part of the story. The funniest part about all of that is that I probably should be on something. People have told me I should be on things. Therapists have told me I should. I'm the one who's saying no. I'm making that choice and saying I don't want to be in anything. Here I am calling up saying I would like to be on something now, and they're telling me I should just handle without. Okay, fine. I end up getting the medication anyway. It was great. I knew I could get on a plane. I tested it beforehand. I was like, I feel good. So, fantastic. Now I'm ready for my actual trip. Leading up to my trip, I have to admit, I was a little bit of a mess. I had this underlying sense of dread, but that made sense. This was really scary. I was essentially going off on my own, going to an entirely new country, first international trip. Like, this was really big for me. I made sure everything was packed accordingly. I made sure to get the flight that I wanted. I made sure I had everything organized the way I needed to. In my head, I just couldn't imagine doing the trip, so I also couldn't imagine coming home from the trip, which I know sounds insane, but that was literally what my mind was telling me, that like I wasn't going to come home. So that was a very, very weird, I guess, mental state I was going through for a very exciting trip. So mentally I was a little lost, a little confused. It was hard to focus on things leading up, but like I was like, you know what? Everything is under control. Everything is lined up. I just need to like complete the steps now. My flight was at 7 p.m. and it was about 12 hours with the time change and everything. Then I had a couple hours to kill, meet up with my friends, and we were gonna catch the train and head over to Paris. But before I got 7 p.m., I planned out my entire morning. I wanted to keep myself busy, wanted to make sure everything was set, which it completely already was. So I really had everything planned out. Everything was okay. So I wake up the morning of my flight, I grab my phone, content to just like go on social media for a little bit, and I notice a text message, and it says, my flight's been canceled. So my first immediate thought is, oh, this is like a scam. I've been getting a lot of like scam texts recently, scam emails. And I'm like, my email's been picked up, my phone's been picked up. This is a scam. No, I proceed to go to the app for my flight, and they tell me my flight's been canceled due to technical issues with the plane. Okay. So if I wasn't awake before, I am awake now. So I jump to my computer because they send me some new itinerary options, and immediately I'm hit by, oh my gosh, like I picked this flight months ago. I was so excited it was a direct flight. I didn't want to deal with connecting flights. I didn't want to deal with that. But now every flight left has a connecting flight one place or another. So the one they immediately put me on was one that was out of Boston still, but we'd be landing in France, and then I'd go up to England. But I was like, okay, well, I'm planning on going to France anyway that day. So I call and I'm like, hey, can I just do the flight to France and not do the connecting up to England? And they're like, no, you can't do that, because if you do that, then you lose your returning flight when you come back a week later. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, if you don't get on that second flight, you're gonna like mess up your entire itinerary if you're a no-show, and then you can't get on your return flight. And my return flight is also a direct flight. So I'm like, well, I don't want to mess with that. Okay, fine. So I hang up the phone and start looking for more options. I honestly, I don't understand the entire itinerary thing. Because if I just remove that one thing, why am I messing with something like a week later? I don't get it. But at that point, I hung up the phone. I lost all sense of emotional control I was seemingly holding on to. I start sobbing. I was losing it. Because I was like, I can't just do a direct flight to France at this point. Because one, they're not available. And two, I already bought a ton of train tickets from London to France. So now I'm going to lose those too. It was just so many things at once were getting messed up because I lost this one flight. So I'm still looking. And it's ridiculous, but I'm still absolutely sobbing because I wanted this flight so badly to be direct. It was just so easy. I picked it months ago, and to a technical issue, it wasn't even weather that I was losing it to. I lost it to a technical issue, which I guess I should be grateful for, that I didn't get on a plane with a technical issue. Did you know how many freaking plane crashes and issues there were this year? So just getting on the plane was a lot. So I guess I was grateful that they found the issue regardless, but at that point I was losing it. It's all coming back to me now. I'm remembering again. I just remember how crazy that morning was. Okay, I need a minute. And this isn't even like the craziest part. So I get on the phone again, and I honestly felt like I was on The Amazing Race. Do you get the reference? Do you get the reference? And I'm like calling the staff, and I was like, can you get me on this flight? Can you get me on this flight? He's seeing a flight I don't even see on my computer, and he's like, I can get you out of Boston at about like 7 p.m. Same timing, 7 p.m. You'll land in JFK like 9-ish or so. Then you get on another flight out of JFK to London at 11 p.m. And I was like, okay, great, I'll take that, put me in. So I'm like, okay, this is getting me back kind of on a schedule again. I'm back to the timing I was comfortable with. I'm still leaving around the same time. This is fine. I have a flight. There's a connection, but you know what? There's a lot of time in between. So I'm like, I feel comfortable with this. I've never been to JFK before, but I figured I have a lot of time. I'll be able to find it. Okay, we're getting back on track. I don't need to change anything. I'm still gonna land in London around the same time. So like, I don't need to talk to my friends or anything. Well, I mean, I told them about my flight issues, obviously. But none of the timing, I'm still gonna be able to meet up with them. All right, let's keep going. That's a lie. That's actually 100% a lie. I just looked at my notes again, and I realized the flight does not land in London around the same time. I actually had to change my train ticket out of London to France. So I had to spend more money to change the train ticket. So that, in fact, that did happen. So there was a little bit of a trickle effect between the airports and the trains and getting there. So I ended up losing a little bit more money. So yeah. And at this point, I should just note, I was sobbing. I regained composure on the phone call, getting the airport, getting the new flight. Floodgates open at this point. I've adopted a new motto that I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it while I'm crying. And that's okay. Little did I know how relevant that motto was going to be for the next 24 hours. The rest of the day was fine. I was able to stop crying a little bit, which was very good. I had a very nice time. I get to the airport, went through security, got my boarding pass, ate some Dunkin' for dinner because when in mass, it's what you do. And then I start getting delay messages. Every 10 minutes or so, I'm getting a 15-minute delay. and then a 15-minute delay, and another 15-minute delay, and it just keeps going back. Sometimes it goes forward, but it just keeps going back. And so now I'm losing a bit of time in JFK, but I said, okay, I still have enough time, so I'll just book it through JFK. But I should still be able to make it. I'll be fine. I'm not gonna bore you with all those details of me sitting in Logan Airport, practically rocking back and forth, noticing my plane stuck in Philly, watching my pilots just sit next to me in the terminal. Yeah, that was a lot. And so I finally get on the plane. We're good. We're heading to JFK. And don't you know, I land at JFK the exact minute, I swear, the exact minute my connecting flight takes off. It was cruel, honestly. The second I get off the plane, I'm crying. I'm calling my mom, who's back home watching this entire thing happen because she's tracking the flights and stuff. So she knows I missed the flight. I know I missed the flight. She knows I missed the flight. I missed the flight. We're like, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm very much so out of my depth. I'm trying not to cry that hard because I'm trying not to draw attention to myself in the airport, but I'm losing it. So I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get to the terminal that I was supposed to be in and just see if I can talk to somebody there to figure out what I'm supposed to do. So I learned two very important things. One, JFK is gigantic. I had to get on, what do they call it, an air train to get over to the other terminal. So I was never gonna make it anyway. Even if I had time, I was never gonna make it. It took way too long to get over there. And two, I got there so late that nobody was there. I got all the way to the other side. It was practically like half hour, 40 minutes after the flight had taken off. So there was no desk to talk to. I'd have to go through security again. I wasn't going through security again just to get to an empty desk. So I started talking to just like the terminal people who are there, because I'm just like, I genuinely do not know what to do. So I'm talking to people from American Airlines, who is connected to British Airways, which is where my flight was. I'm talking to these people. I'm looking at options. So everything is just so expensive. I end up just sitting on the floor at 1 a.m. crying quietly at this point, just like, I don't know what to do. It all seemed just so hopeless. I've accepted my fate. I was like, I don't even know. And then I'm not sure how it happened or why it happened, but why I thought to just check my email. And lo and behold, JetBlue had set me up on another flight at 8 a.m., I guess that morning. I just didn't know. So I had a flight. I have a flight at 8:45 a.m. that's landing in London at 8:45 p.m. the same day, but that effectively completely shuts me out of any Paris plans I had because we were only staying for a night. So goodbye, Paris. But at that point, I had so many other big issues to deal with. I had to just quickly mourn that to myself while dealing with everything else. I can't even text my friends and let them know because they're already on their flight to London. They're already making it over there. So I try my best and I quickly refund all my Paris things. I lost so much money on train tickets. I tried to get refunds. I did not get refunds. I was able to refund the hotel. That was the only thing I could do. So we're just gonna, gosh, I lost so much money, guys. I lost so much money. So one crisis had been averted. I had a flight, I had a hotel refund, but I was still sitting on the floor of JFK. So now I need somewhere to stay for the night because as much as I just wanted to stay on the floor of the airport, my mom was like, hey, that's not a good idea. And you know what? She was right. It was bad. If I nodded off, if anything else happened, I was alone. I was clearly alone. There wasn't a group of people. A lot of bad things could have happened. I wasn't thinking straight. I needed a place to stay. So I start just Googling some places. But the confusing thing about it being almost 2 a.m. at that point is that the websites don't click over. They think you're looking at the next night. So I couldn't actually look at anything for happening right now because it was technically the next day, even though it was the middle of the night. It was a whole thing. So I start calling places. And you know what? Not to sound like a boomer, but no one picks up the phone anymore. There's no one who, if you call, no one's on the other side. It has to go through an automated system. So I have to call these hotels, go through the automated system, then attempt to get a real person on the phone. And let me tell you, I'm sitting there with a list of hotels on my map, just being like, okay, I'll call this, okay, I'll call this, okay, I'll call this. Nobody had room at the end. Nobody had room at the end. I'm calling so many places and nobody had space. And I was like, this is amazing. And you know what? Really quickly, I just want to set the scene. So I'm sitting on the floor of the terminal, kind of by the exit door, and I look up. And the sky, obviously it's dark, it's the middle of the night, is actually lighting up. There's a lightning storm going on right now, right before my eyes. And if I wasn't so crushed with the realities I was facing, it would have been really beautiful. this lightning storm just lighting up the skies. So that's happening out there. A lot happening in that terminal with me calling. I'm calling so many places. I finally get a place and I'm like, hi, do you have room right now? Almost 2 a.m. And they're like, oh my gosh, yes we do. And I'm like, fantastic. And they're like, oh, we can reserve it right now. This is gonna be great. Do you want to give me your credit card information? And I said, okay, so I'm currently sitting in an airport and shockingly, there's actually a ton of people around me and I don't feel comfortable sharing my credit card information over the phone. So why don't I just get there? And they're like, oh, yeah, not a problem. Like, we'll see you in a bit. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be like 10, 15 minutes. I'll be there. Great. Now I need to call an Uber. First of all, that Uber was like $50, $60. We were going 10 minutes away. $50, $60, middle of the night, Jamaica, Queens, New York. Ha! That hurt, but I had no time to think about it. So I exit the terminal, and first of all, it is like 100 degrees of sweat. I feel like I'm walking into a cloud. It smells like cigarettes and pee, and I was like, what is going on here? So it turns out that door I was walking in front of, or that I exited out of, is actually not where I was supposed to go. So it's now past 2 a.m. at this point. I walk outside into the dark. There's people smoking on the sides. I'm like, if I get attacked or if anything happens to me right now, whatever. I walk out and away from everybody else. As I'm trying to find this Uber, I'm watching the little map on my phone. I'm like, oh, he's pulling up. Yeah, no one's pulling up. I actually walked towards a car that was not my Uber. It turns out I'm in the wrong place. JFK is so big, they got levels, man. And you know what? I've never been to JFK before, so I didn't know that. So they got levels, and I was on the wrong level. So I walked back inside to a security guard who was mad at me for talking to him. You know what? I was mad too, bro. I didn't want to be there. You don't want to be there? Bro, I don't want to be there. And I'm like, please, where is the Uber thing? And he's like, it's actually down to the left. You know what? Wrong. It was actually down to the right. I actually saw the sign after I talked to him. And I was like, I hope that was a mistake because he was sending me in the wrong direction, but that's fine. I finally made it into the Uber. We're looking at each other. We're like, yep, this is what's going on. I'm going to give you $60 to drive me basically down the street, but I'm not walking. Okay, great. So he drops me off. The parking lot's this big, so I just kind of like hop out, get inside, talk to the receptionist, and he looks at me like I'm the biggest pain in the ass in the entire world. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm like, hi, like, I called. You said you guys have room? And he looks at me and he's like, no. No, I called and he's like, no, we have no room right now. And I was like, okay, attitude needs to dial back right now because I'm going to have a breakdown, but that's fine. I'm like, that's great. That's fine. I'm just going to step over there, make some phone calls. Thank you so much. And I proceed to stand in the lobby in the corner with people coming in and out. Very busy for past 2 a.m. at this point. And I'm calling more places and I'm texting my mom and I'm going, it's not working. So I'm like, what do I do now? And I'm calling more places and I'm calling more places. And we're sending things back and forth to each other. She's calling, I'm calling, it's a mess. Finally, I call this other place and this man with a very heavy Eastern Bloc accent. And I'm like, hi, do you have room right now? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I have a few rooms. And I was like, great, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I don't know if it's 10 minutes. I don't know where this place is at all. I just said it. And he's like, oh, do you want to like put a card down? And I'm like, I can't, but I'm gonna be there. I promise you. I get another Uber for another $50 to $60. Driving on the way over, it was about 15 minutes. So I was like, all right, it was close enough. The sky opens up. It starts pouring. And I'm just like, yeah, no, this checks out. This makes sense. This was supposed to happen. Thank God this random hotel, which apparently people use for govball, I didn't know that until I read the reviews afterwards, had a little awning. So the guy is able to drive under it and I'm able to grab my suitcase in my bag, which has ripped at this point. My little bag ripped. I'm supposed to fix that still. It's been months. I need to fix that still. I make it in to the single man standing at the desk and I'm like, hello, I called. And he's like, you're the one who called? And I'm like, I'm the one who called. And oh my gosh, I just realized this was not on purpose, I swear. This was the shirt I was wearing. This was my travel shirt, my designated travel shirt. On some level, I do blame Dan and Phil for this because my other friend was wearing some sort of Dan and Phil merch and something went wrong for her. Not as tragically as mine, but something went wrong for her as well. So I am somewhat blaming them because they also have very traumatic travel stories, but that's a side point. Oh, another side point. That's the little guy I took with me on the trip. He's very cute. He's very small. He fit in my bag. You just kind of hold on to him. He's lovely. So he witnessed this entire thing and I do feel bad. So I wanted to honor him a little bit in this video. So I finally meet this man at the desk. I pay another $130 for this hotel room. So it is now 2:45 a.m. and I set my alarm for 5 a.m. Set an Uber for 5:15 a.m. because I gotta be back at the airport at 5:30 a.m. And I brush my teeth and then I just knock out. So a little over 2 hours later, I'm back downstairs in the lobby handing the man who I just saw a couple hours ago my card back and bidding him a goodbye. He looks confused. He's like, did I not just... And I'm like, yeah, 100%. I'm like, have a good one. So hop, skip, and another $50 Uber back to JFK. And it's not over yet. So I make it through security and I'm trying to get my boarding pass. And for some reason, my boarding pass is wrong. And not just wrong, not showing up. So I'm looking at my app and I'm like, so I see that I'm on this flight. I have an email confirmation. I can see the timing. I have everything. Like I can see this flight. But when I hit boarding pass, it's showing my boarding pass from last night. And I was just like, this is awful. So I go to one of those like kiosk things where you can print it out and I print it and it's blank. Have you guys ever seen a blank boarding pass before? I thought it was gonna at least shoot out last night's information. No, it was completely blank. And I was like, awesome. So I happened to be right next to the Just Ask JetBlue desk. So I'm like, all right, there's 7 people in front of me. I'll be in and out of this line in no time. My flight's at 8:45. So I got there about 5:30. It's only about 6 o'clock or so. And I was like, I'll be fine. And I couldn't have been more wrong. 7 people in front of me. But it turns out everyone and their grandma, and I'm not even exaggerating because I actually saw somebody there with their grandmother, needed to tell their entire life story to the people at the desks. Guys, I was on that line for almost 2 hours, and I wish I was kidding. For a solid hour, the only reason I was moving up in that line were because people were bailing. That was it. That was the only reason I moved. At one point, this older couple was behind me and the wife was dealing with something on her phone and the older man noticed I was like typing really fast on my phone, which I was texting my mom again. So he made a comment about how fast I was typing. He starts asking questions. I'm like, oh, I'm going here. Oh, you're going there. That's nice. All of a sudden, he's telling me that I need to find like that 5% of man to marry, someone like rich and great. And I was like,
I know that, but I can't find them.
Okay, no, I didn't say that, but I was like, what are we talking about? It is 7 a.m. in JFK Airport. You don't know me. I don't know you. Bro, I don't know. So I was nice and I was like, hi, yeah, of course. Because like, what was I supposed to say? How do you respond to something like that? How am I conversing? Finally, I think the wife was like, I just need to get him out of there. So they ended up bailing. So luckily that conversation I didn't have to like sit with that for however longer I needed to be standing in that line for. So finally, at like 7:30 or so, I'm finally like the next one in line. And I was like, okay, great. I had a plan that if it got closer to 8, I was just gonna bail and go to my gate and see if like the people at the desk could help me. But I figured if I'm on this line, I'll stay on the line. I finally go up and I'm just like, hi, my boarding pass. I don't know. For some reason, it's blank. I'm still in the middle of explaining myself and she hands me a boarding pass. It's correct and I can go. The entire interaction lasted less than 30 seconds. And I was like, what was everybody else's problem? That they were taking like a half hour, 45 minutes to talk and mine was just that, whatever. I was grateful. I was out of there. I went to one of the little food shops. I bought an Uncrustable that I basically had to throw down my throat because I was gagging on it. I got some water. I got to sit at my gate. I took my little anti-anxiety med and I was finally on the plane. And you know what? At that point, I don't even know if it was the meds, but I didn't care. I was like, oh, I'm getting on the plane. I'm actually gonna make it. Awesome, fantastic. I wasn't scared. I was like, this is great. I'm here. That was a lot. I'm gonna take a step back. Because the flight was actually great. Like there was like no turbulence. Easy takeoff, easy landing. Fun little snacks, honestly. It was actually really good. And I think that's the funniest part. That I genuinely wasn't afraid. And I can't tell if it was the anti-anxiety med or if I was just so traumatized, horrified, tired, everything that happened that I was looking to get on the flight and just to not do anything for 7 hours and just be. It was almost like I didn't have the strength to be anxious anymore. And I think there's something actually kind of beautiful about that. So look, am I cured from travel anxiety? No, maybe a lot, but not all. But do I feel anxious about the prospect of traveling anymore? Absolutely not. Everything just seems so manageable, and I was able to handle it all that it's just like, oh, like I did it. You know how like you just need to see something and then you feel much better about it? I saw so much, but now I've seen it already, so I could do it again if need be, and if it doesn't happen, even better. Oh, okay, wait, this is the last point, because I had no like travel anxiety during the actual trip, but on the flight back, my direct flight back, by the way, I was sitting in an aisle, and I don't know, people say the armrests on the side could move. I couldn't get mine to move. That's fine. But then the guy in front of me decided that he wanted to lean all the way back, so I had like the tray, but I was like kind of into me, and then the guy next to me had his arm over the armrest, so I was just kind of trapped. I was in like my own little bubble for like 7 hours. So I was a little bit trapped. So that was something. Oh, so also the guy in front of me also proceeded to spill coffee all over my bag that I had under the seat. But that's beside the point. I know that's just gonna happen. Towards the end of the flight, I was getting like a little antsy. So when they were coming around for like drinks and stuff, I asked if they had any sparkling water, and they said they didn't. And I was like, you know what? That's totally fine. I actually like, I'll be good. I'm okay. But then the lady felt bad, so she did come back later when I didn't really want it anymore, because it was like minutes, like a lot of time has passed at that point, and she hands me a little glass of sparkling water, and I was like, okay, thank you, like I had some sparkling water. But I still had like a lot left. But we're getting towards like landing now, so I was expecting them to come around with the trash again, and they never did. And I still have this half-filled glass of water in my hand. So something I did not know was that Logan has one of the worst landings of all time because of how bumpy the road is, but I didn't know that, so bear with me. So here I am, strapped in, nervous about landings, because that's what I do, so I'm like trying to like be calm, I'm trying to be okay. My ears hurt so much because I ended up getting a cold while I was on the trip, so like everything was plugged up, so my ears hurt like hell. I'm chewing gum to try to help that. I'm like trying to brace myself and like be calm for the landing. And all of a sudden we land and it's shaking and like bumpy. My water spills all over. So I'm holding on and it's like shaking. It's all over me. I don't want to get it on the man, so I'm like now holding it off to the side over the thing, and this is the longest damn landing of my entire life, and I'm just holding this cup. I'm all wet now, and I'm just like, okay, can we just get off this flight already? I didn't know it was gonna be that bad. I thought they were gonna take the trash, and they didn't come take the trash, and now like I'm all wet, and there's coffee on my bag, and I didn't want to get the man wet, so now I just look stupid holding this over the aisle so that nobody else gets wet. It was honestly, there was no other way that trip could have ended. That had to happen. That was like, I don't know, a canon event. That had to happen. In conclusion, hold on, I need to be serious for a moment. Okay, a lot of things can go wrong while traveling. And I'm very carefully just putting out that I'm not talking about active emergencies. Those are different. But cancellations, rebookings, delays, connecting flights, being stranded somewhere, like it happens. And then you handle it because you have to handle it, and then it's handled, and then you're looking back at it and you're like, hey, that's not affecting me anymore. It happened, I handled it, and now I'm in the present, or now I'm like now a month in the future, and I was like, that's not affecting me anymore. I'm okay. I made it to the other side. I planned everything to a T, but all of that still happened, but I still made it on my trip, had the best time, and made it home, and got another YouTube video out of it. And I guess that's basically how I combated my travel anxiety. Do I recommend this technique? No! But was it helpful? Apparently. So give me a thumbs up for making it to the other side. You can go ahead and check out all my travel vlogs down below and my other videos as well. You can click here to subscribe to my channel and here to watch my last video. And make sure you subscribe for more vlogs, stories, and unhelpful advice. And don't forget, sometimes you just need to get through something while crying, and that is perfectly okay. Until next time.